Becka wasn't supposed to be the hero of the Testaments. Going into the finale, most viewers were focused on Agnes, Aunt Lydia, and the growing cracks inside Gilead's power structure. But by the time the episode ended, it became clear that the most important decision in the entire story may have belonged to Becka. And if the finale is telling us what it seems to be telling us, Becca's final choice wasn't just an act of sacrifice. It was the moment Agnes began her transformation into someone Gilead will eventually fear. Because hidden beneath the tragedy of the ending is a much bigger theory. Becka didn't simply change her own fate. She changed Agnes's. The finale frames Becca's decision as a personal moment, but the way the episode is constructed suggests something larger is happening. Pay attention to where the story places its emotional focus. The event itself is important, but the camera repeatedly returns to Agnes. The episode wants us to see her reaction. It wants us to understand what this moment means to her. That's a strange choice if Becca's story is truly ending here. Normally, a finale would focus on the character making the sacrifice. Instead, the Testaments keeps reminding us that Agnes is watching. Agnes is learning. Agnes is changing. That detail becomes even more interesting when you look at Agnes's journey throughout the season. For most of the story, she has lived between two worlds. One part of her has always wanted answers. She wants to understand why Gilead works the way it does, and why so many things around her feel wrong. But another part of her is terrified of what those answers might cost. Every major revelation pushes her closer to the truth, yet every step toward that truth places her in greater danger. The result is a character constantly hesitating at the edge of rebellion, and that's where Becka comes in. Unlike Agnes, Becka reaches a point where hesitation is no longer possible. She is forced to make a choice, accept the future Gilead has prepared for her, or reject it completely. The finale shows her making that decision with devastating consequences. But the real significance may not be the choice itself. It may be the fact that Agnes witnesses it. For perhaps the first time, Agnes sees someone her own age refuse to surrender. Not in secret, not through whispers, not through dreams of escape, through action. This is where the theory begins. What if Becca's role in the finale was never about saving herself? What if her story was designed to accomplish something far more important? What if Becca's final act was meant to create the one thing Agnes has been missing all season? Certainty? Think about it. Gilead survives because people believe resistance is impossible. The regime doesn't just control bodies, it controls imagination. It convinces its citizens that there is no alternative, no escape, and no future beyond obedience. Agnes has spent her entire life inside that system. Even when she questions it, she still struggles to imagine life outside its rules. Becka destroys that illusion. In a single moment, she proves that choice still exists. The finale quietly suggests that this realization hits Agnes harder than any revelation she has experienced before. Learning secrets is one thing. Watching someone act on those truths is another. Information can be ignored. Courage cannot. Becka forces Agnes to confront a reality she can no longer avoid. If someone else was willing to risk everything, what excuse does Agnes have for remaining passive? And that question may become the driving force behind Agnes's future story. There is another clue hidden within the episode that supports this interpretation. Throughout the season, Agnes has often been portrayed as someone reacting to events rather than creating them. Things happen around her. Secrets are revealed to her. Decisions are made for her. But by the end of the finale, that dynamic appears to be changing. The look on Agnes's face isn't just grief. It's recognition. It's the expression of someone beginning to understand that history is not made by people who wait. That shift could have enormous consequences moving forward. Because if Agnes truly absorbs the lesson Becka leaves behind, then she becomes far more dangerous than she was at the beginning of the series. Not because she suddenly gains power, not because she acquires influence, but because she gains conviction. And conviction is one of the few things Gilead struggles to control. This brings us to Aunt Lydia. For much of the season, Lydia has appeared to be operating according to a plan that nobody else fully understands. She sees things others miss. She invests in people others overlook. And perhaps most importantly, she consistently places Agnes in situations that force her to grow. The question is whether Lydia anticipated what Becca's sacrifice would accomplish. There are two possibilities here. The first is that Lydia is as shocked as everyone else. Becca's decision was unexpected, and Agnes's transformation is simply an unintended consequence. But the second possibility is much more intriguing. What if Lydia recognized long ago that Agnes needed a catalyst? What if she understood that facts and secrets alone would never be enough to change her? If that's true, then Becca's influence on Agnes may fit into a much larger strategy that Lydia has been quietly building from the shadows. And if that theory is correct, then the finale contains a hidden victory that most viewers haven't noticed yet. Gilead believes it controls the next generation. It believes it can shape young women into loyal followers who will preserve the system indefinitely. But what if the exact opposite is happening? What if every attempt to control Agnes has only prepared her to reject that control later? What if Becca's final choice is simply the moment that process becomes irreversible? Suddenly, the finale stops looking like the conclusion of Becca's story. It starts looking like the beginning of Agnes's. The more you think about it, the more the episode feels structured around that idea. Becca's sacrifice provides the emotional impact, but Agnes's reaction provides the narrative momentum. One story reaches its endpoint while another accelerates forward. The torch is being passed from one character to another, not through words, but through example, and that may explain why the ending feels so unsettling. The episode never gives Agnes a dramatic speech. It never has her announce a rebellion. It never tells the audience exactly what she plans to do next. Instead, it leaves us with possibility. It leaves us with a character who has finally seen proof that resistance is real. Sometimes, that's all a revolution needs. Which brings us to the biggest prediction coming out of the finale. Many viewers are treating Becca's choice as the tragic ending of a beloved character. I think the writers may be asking us to see it differently. I think they're presenting it as the moment Agnes crosses a line she can never uncross. The moment she stops being someone searching for answers and starts becoming someone willing to act on them. If that's true, then Becca's final decision will echo through every future chapter of the Testaments. Every challenge Agnes faces. Every risk she takes, every stand she makes against Gilead. It can all be traced back to this single moment, because the finale may not be showing us the fall of one girl. It may be showing us the creation of the girl who eventually helps bring Gilead down. And if that theory is right, then Becca's final choice wasn't the end of her story at all. It was the beginning of Agnes's. There's also one final detail that makes this theory even harder to ignore. Becca's choice accomplishes something Gilead fears more than open rebellion. It creates a story. Regimes like Gilead can punish individuals, erase records, and silence witnesses. But they struggle to stop an idea once it begins spreading from person to person. Agnes now carries the memory of someone who refused to be broken. Every time she faces a difficult decision in the future, Becca's example will be there, challenging her to choose courage over safety. In many ways, Becca may become more powerful after her sacrifice than she ever was before it. Gilead can remove a person, but it cannot easily remove the impact that person leaves behind. And that may be the true meaning of the finale's ending. On the surface, the episode closes with loss, grief, and uncertainty. But beneath that tragedy lies a warning for Gilead's leaders. They believe they have eliminated a problem when they may have actually created a much bigger one. Becca's story may be over, but Agnes's is only beginning. The girl who entered the season was searching for answers about the world around her. The girl who leaves the finale may be preparing to change that world entirely. And if the writers are setting up what comes next, then Becca's final choice won't be remembered as the moment Gilead won. It will be remembered as the moment Gilead unknowingly planted the seeds of its own downfall.